You like to make an Oreo with us and come to our...
the fuck off.
Whoa.
I don't know who you think you are.
Whoa.
I don't care. Back the fuck off.
I just wanted to ask if you want to come to our Juneteenth.
Walk up on people. That lady didn't do shit to you. You walk up, she asking you to leave her alone.
She never asked us to leave her alone. She asked us to put her on camera, actually.
No, she didn't.
She said that the Walmart treated her bad.
Didn't. I saw her trying to walk away and you walked
Sir, I'm a Black Lives Matter. I don't want any problems, sir.
I don't care what you are.
Today's our day.
I don't care.
We want you to celebrate the day with us.
Stop following people. You can celebrate whatever you want. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Don't follow people.
We're just going inside the Walmart.
Then go inside the Walmart and do this shit in there and see how fast they kick you off the property. Stop following me.
Bro, I'm going inside the Walmart.
Walk a different fucking way.
No, I'm walking this way, bro.
That's fine.
Here, my BLM two-step on you. Man, Viter might actually be the most racist town in America.
Watch this video and let's talk about it.
The only systematic racism that has been legally allowed in America in recent years is against white people. Things like DEI, things like job quotas, things like black-only business loans, right? This has all been working against the white people who created this country, and I'm sick and tired of pretending that it's not.
I'm Dr. Michael H. Ford, and let's talk about what you just saw. She said the only systematic racism legally allowed in America today is against white people. DEI, job quotas, black-only business loans. White people created this country. 5 claims. Let's go one by one. Claim 1. The only systematic racism legally allowed today is against white people. The Federal Reserve's own data shows the median white family holds $284,000 in wealth compared to $44,100 for the median black family. That is a gap of more than 6 times. A 2024 Zillow survey of 12,000 adults found that 69% of black Americans reported experiencing housing discrimination in their lifetime. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in the third quarter of 2025, black workers earned $970 per week compared to $1,238 for white workers. If systematic racism against black people ended, somebody forgot to tell the data. Claim 2. DEI discriminates against white people. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is defined by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission as the practice of creating fair and inclusive workplaces that ensure equal opportunities for all employees. DEI does not exclude white people. It addresses documented barriers that prevent equal access. That is not discrimination, that is correction. And here's the part that nobody talks about. You ready? The group that has benefited most from DEI in corporate America is white women. According to McKinsey's 2025 Women in the Workplace report, the largest study of its kind, white women hold 23% of C-suite positions, while women of color hold just 7%. The policy she's calling racist has done more for people who look like her than for anyone else. Claim 3. Job quotas. Race-based hiring quotas are not DEI, they are illegal. The Society for Human Resource Management states explicitly that setting specific hiring or promotion quotas based on race is a direct violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. DEI and quotas are not the same thing. Calling them the same thing is not an argument, it is a lie. Claim 4. Black-only business loans. The SBA's own 2023 data shows that despite black Americans making up 13% of the population, black business owners received only 4.6% of SBA loan funding, while white business owners received 42.3%. There are no black-only federal business loans. The data shows the exact opposite problem. Claim 5. White people created this country. The White House was built by enslaved black people. The United States Capitol was built by enslaved black people. This is confirmed by the White House Historical Association and the National Archives, which holds the actual wage rolls documenting their labor. The cotton economy that funded America's Industrial Revolution was built on 246 years of unpaid black labor. You cannot erase the builders from the building. 5 claims, 5 failures, not one supported by law, data, or history. The most dangerous misinformation is not the kind that sounds extreme, no. It is the kind that sounds confident. Now you have the facts. Use them. Healing starts with knowing. Follow for more.
If the whole thing about these data centers is that it's going to use up all of our water and the community is going to die because it has no more access to drinkable water, then why are they putting it in good communities to ruin those communities? Why not places like Flint, Michigan? Those people can't use their water. It's toxic water. Why not put these data centers there? I don't understand why we have to go to good communities with drinkable water where people are already living and ruin.
Evident that you don't know what the definition of environmental racism is and the history behind it. Environmental racism is a pattern of placing toxic infrastructure, polluting factories, chemical plants, waste facilities in low-income communities of color, and the data backs it up. Black Americans are 75% more likely to live near oil and gas facilities than white Americans. People of color are 55% more likely to live adjacent to industrial polluters.
We've been a dumping ground area for the city of Chicago for over 100 years. And I think this area has done their fair share for the city of Chicago.
Until about a year ago, I didn't even know we had a landfill over here. Walk down the streets of our community and you can say, what's that smell? And they say, man, that's them people over there burning that stuff. Man, that's them people over there dumping that stuff. Man, I'm getting tired of this stuff. You know, you can walk down the street and ask anybody, what's that smell? And they'll tell you.
Coming online and suggesting that new data centers, which are negatively impacting their environment overall, be placed in Flint because it's a bad area instead of placing them in good areas is not only showing your covert racism, but you're promoting the same environmental racism that has been occurring in this country for a century. You are the product of a country which has structural racism embedded in everything. It's not shocking that you made this video and you thought it was a good take. That's because, unlike black and brown communities, white people's privilege allows you to distance yourself from the damage, hardships, and realities of the oppressed. Flint, Michigan, Cancer Alley, Louisiana, the Navajo Nation are some of the most documented examples in modern American history. In 2014, Michigan appointed an emergency manager to cut costs in Flint, a majority black city already gutted by deindustrialization. He switched the water source. The water corroded aging pipes and leached into homes, and leached lead into homes. Officials told residents it was fine for 2 years. By the time the state admitted the truth, thousands of children had already been poisoned. No safe level of lead exists, especially for developing brains. In Louisiana, an 85-mile stretch between New Orleans and Baton Rouge hosts over 200 petrochemical plants and refineries. The communities inside that corridor are overwhelmingly black. Cancer rates are among the highest in the country. Residents named themselves Cancer Alley.
The place I remember being so beautiful and full of life is now called Cancer Alley, which runs from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. We call it Death Alley, due to the high number of community members getting sick and dying from cancer. In 2016, I was diagnosed with autoimmune hepatitis. In 2019, I was diagnosed with aluminum and lead in my body. My fruit trees no longer bear fruit. Members of my family and community say that their children have trouble breathing and they are experiencing skin rashes, nosebleeds, respiratory ailments, and cancer.
The industry calls it the chemical corridor. On the Navajo Nation, the federal government authorized over 500 uranium mines during the Cold War. Mines that employed Navajo workers who were never told what radiation exposure does to the human body. When mining became unprofitable, the companies just left. The waste stayed. Abandoned mines still sit on Navajo land today, contaminating soil, air, and water. Cancer rates and kidney disease in those communities remain elevated decades later.
This is our home. We've been here for thousands of years. We are here to help oppose this mining for the Havasupai tribe and for all other people. Right now, our current concern is the hauling of the ore. My elders and their elders before them always fought this mine. They didn't want the uranium ore to be dug up and brought out. Bureaucrats are not being accountable about having these things happen and desecrating the Mother Earth.
Cleanup was promised. It has never been completed. Flint's governor had charges dropped twice. Cancer Alley's plants are still running. The Navajo mines have been waiting on remediation since the 1990s. Certain lives have been deemed expendable, and according to your implicit bias, this remains true for those residents of Flint, Michigan, because it's a bad area. Stay black, stay blessed.
It seems like the Asian boycott is working. They took their happy asses down there to try to get a 2.0 to the Asian hate bill to force black people to shop at their establishments. But I thought y'all don't need us. I mean, y'all dared us to not shop with y'all, not knowing that Truth or Dare was one of our favorite games back in the day, but y'all dared us to do that. And when we took y'all up on that dare and said, oh, bet y'all want to go down to Washington, D.C. and try to get a 2.0 to the Asian hate to force people, black people, to shop in your establishments. How does that work? Like, so y'all gonna make sure, like, hold our hands and make us forcefully buy your products? Because I think even Donald Duck is gonna look at y'all like y'all goofy as fuck for even trying to present a 2.0. Like, somebody gotta break this bill down to me, make it make sense, because they fucking delusional. It seems like
white people of color cannot be racist. Racism is a system built for a specific group of people to succeed. Black, brown, etc. get nothing out of being racist. But do you know who has everything to gain from racism? White people. Granted, people of color can indeed be prejudiced. But as far as racist, no. Y'all got that shit, and I need y'all to hold that.
When I hear arguments like this, I get why some people question the state of education in America. It is frustrating that living in one of the most successful countries in the world, we still struggle with basic definitions. People talk about systemic or institutional racism like it's the only form of racism that exists. That is part of why we are so divided. They don't acknowledge that interpersonal racism exists too. So many people engage in racist behavior. They don't treat others like they want to be treated because of their race. That is racism. You don't need institutional power to hate someone because of the color of their skin.
A 27-year-old black woman named Tania Miller was found lynched from a tree on June 18th after visiting Miami for the Juneteenth weekend. The Miami Sheriff Department initially classified the incident as a suicide attempt, but we all know that it was really a hate crime against her. Tania's family are actively seeking for an independent autopsy and more investigation as the system has failed them. You may be like, but I've never heard of this, and this is a major deal. That's because the news isn't covering it. This is systematic racism at its finest. They are hiding this story so that it doesn't get out to the public. Please spread awareness so that Tania Miller and her family can get the justice they deserved.
I might ruffle some feathers with this, but I don't really care. Number one, the reason you don't like Anaya is because you have the same wound of lack of resources like Casey does, in my opinion. Is Anaya not the goal? Is she not the goal for everybody and their kids? Is Anaya not what you want your child to end up having? A nice house, a car, never having to ask for shit, never having to struggle, and having a good example of a partnership? Like, I'm confused. Why is it when we finally get someone that's produced from the black nuclear family and lived in the black middle class or the wealthy upper class, you guys hate them? Hate them. And I grew up dirt poor. Like, I grew up on a fixed income with my grandpa. Like, I don't get y'all. Like, in my opinion is that because when a black woman is either self-sufficient, accepting breadcrumbs, or she's angry and she's upset, those are the only three things you guys accept. But when she expects more from somebody, y'all hate that. Y'all hate when black women ask for anything. Now she's spoiled. Now she's out of touch. Now she's sheltered. Was that not the goal? Was that not the goal? Because to me, like, I feel like she reminds me, like, Kaylor. Like, Kaylor, no one was saying Kaylor needed to leave. Everybody just said Kaylor needed to stop crying. Like, do you get the issue? Like, the social dynamic? And we have to look at Anaya from the perceived lens that black women are adultified, just like Trinity is. She is not allowed to cry. She's less deserving. She's less innocent. She knows what she's doing. She doesn't like him. She's also being emotionally manipulative for crying 1 to 2 times, 1 to 3 times. Mind you, their relationship was good up until Soul came. And again, Love Island built them up to break them down. Like, I feel like that was very obvious. This is the point. Impoverished black women are usually treated as evidence that there is social failure, that there is a racism issue, that there's all these isms going on. While black women who get to wealthier status, they're seen as personal excess. And what happens is that these two things are used against black women, and black women are blamed for both. Because if you chose Day, that was on you. And if you stayed in the projects, that was on you. And if you had 6 babies, that was on you. And if you're expecting too much, that is on you. Who's gonna buy you a Range Rover? Who finna lay out the jacket when there's a puddle? I don't do that shit no more. And what people aren't realizing is that they're watching a black woman who didn't have to be an adult. Y'all loved Alandria. Alandria had to be the oldest sister the whole entire time. she took care of everybody. Anaya is doing almost a similar thing, but she's still a daughter. Like, she's showing that she is not fluent in deprivation. She's not fluent in struggle. And it's bothering some of you. I don't know. As someone that grew up struggling, like, I feel like it's bothering some of y'all. I don't know. And I feel like it worried Casey that, like, this might not be somebody that he can provide for in a traditional sense. But providing, okay, because we're Black, doesn't always have to be financial. And Black women know that. And my biggest critique of Casey is that, and a lot of you guys, is that what you're hearing from Casey doesn't get spoken to Anaya. He just sits there and says, yeah, because he was playing a role. He was not being himself. He got in that confessionals and he was speaking to us. He never spoke to her.
I haven't made space for white people in public or on the sidewalk for years. Not because I'm rude or not because I don't have manners, but because white people expect us to, due to the history of our positioning as Black people in this country.
So imagine this. You're at home with your 2-year-old and your 3-year-old, and you tell your 3-year-old you're going to go on your first tricycle ride. Okay, so get ready, put on all of your protective pads and everything. You also have a 2-year-old, and there's no way for you to go on a first tricycle ride with a wobbly 3-year-old and also have the 2-year-old like in a stroller or something. So you strap the 2-year-old to your back and you proceed out of your house. It's already a precarious situation. So like as a mom, you are just like kind of looking around, making sure everything is safe as you leave the house. And as you leave the house, you see your neighbor up the street near like a green area where people put their dogs to poop and everything. And you see that neighbor and you still have to like get everybody out the house and, the bag and whatever else you need, lock the door. And as you turn back around, maybe it's like a minute later, you still see that neighbor, and that neighbor had turned around to see you leave your house. So now you're realizing that that neighbor is still looking at you as you were kind of preparing your kids and locking your door. This neighbor was already someone who was antagonistic towards you before, called the police on your husband for meeting up with another of the friend of his who had a motorcycle, and they were both like revving their motorcycles inside of your own garage, and immediately called the police for noise. The police did nothing, came by and said, "What's the problem here?" Nothing. Okay. And then left. We knew it was him. Spoiler alert, this person that's leaving their house is me. So as you go down your 3 little steps and you go around your little lawn area, you realize that this neighbor is still looking at you with their dog, facing you, but not moving. The dog is also not doing anything. It had already done its business. This neighbor is maybe about a 6'4" white man, and is just glowering at you. As you proceed along that sidewalk, the other side of the street had no sidewalk, and you have a baby on your back, a baby on a tricycle that you're just like teaching to pedal and everything. You're on a sidewalk, and that person is waiting for you at the end of that sidewalk. And as you get closer, you know exactly what's happening. You know that this person is waiting for you to step off because he will not. And what he doesn't realize is that this little 5'4" Black lady with 2 babies and a hijab on is no one to play with, because I was never going to step down. When we got, close enough, I said, "Are you not going to move?" And you know what he said to me? He said, "When you see me on this sidewalk, you step down." And I laughed in his face. I said, "Absolutely not. I'm not stepping down." He stepped down, went around with his dog, called me stupid. This is in front of my 2 babies. First tricycle ride, and I make everything special for my kids. Oh, we did the most before we left, right? We had bought her all the things and said, "Oh yeah, tomorrow, and then it's the day of, let's go do it." He ruined it. I don't know if my kids will remember it, but I'll always remember that her first tricycle ride was a racist encounter. So he went around, he allowed his dog to get so close to my baby who was on the tricycle's ankle, and I swear my leg was ready. My leg was ready to kick that dog. And I didn't care about any repercussions. I didn't care that this man was like a whole foot higher, taller than me, and then like huge. I didn't care. I did not care. I believe in God. he proceeded to go, after calling me stupid, he went home, and I proceeded on my tricycle ride because there was no way he was going to fully ruin that. And oh, we had a good time. We had a good time. And he's like, okay, so this guy might be one of those gun-toting Republicans who, if I even knock on his door, he's going to answer with a gun. So now what? And then he already called the cops on me for revving my motorcycle. I wrote an article about this situation. If you guys want to read the article, I'll put it up on the screen. I absolutely agree with this content creator who said that he does not make space for white people anymore. Because neither do I.
There is damage on my car. Focus on the road, bitch. Focus on the road. You almost. What a clown. What a clown. You look like a pathetic little bitch. That's what you do. I want to hurt you. Little proud boys. You just came up to a complete stranger saying you hope I don't get raped and murdered.
You violated my space.
I don't know you.
You violated my space with
I
what you
haven't
wrote on your
violated
vehicle.
shit. That's my freedom of speech.
Yeah,
So you come up here and you feel what is okay to say to a complete stranger, you hope I don't get raped and murdered.
That's my freedom of speech, dear. Don't you understand
What if someone came up to your daughter and said that?
What happens if...
What if a stranger came up to your daughter and said that?
What happens if...
You probably would do that to your daughter. You probably would do that to your daughter.
My little granddaughter
You
want to know...
are disgusting. You're disgusting.
Me. What about one of my grandchildren that sees that?
Disgusting.
Yeah.
What if your grandchild heard you saying that to a woman? What if your grandchild was the one being told that?
Absolutely.
What if someone said that to your grandchild?
Absolutely. It's a warning for people...
So it's made national headlines, but the whole incident out at Arcadia Lake in Oklahoma that happened last night, let me just tell you, I live in the nearest town, and the amount of subtle and outward racism that I have seen in the Facebook comments and in like all the groups is insane. Now, it's to be expected. I live in the Bible Belt, obviously. But I honestly didn't realize how racist people still were. But it showed me the comments are awful. Beyond awful. They're crazy. And it's really disheartening to see.
My grandpa was a racist, and when I was 17 years old, my mom told him that he better get over it because his granddaughter was likely going to marry a black person. My grandfather disowned me. He did not speak to me again until the day that he died, when he fell asleep in his pool chair, dropped a cigarette onto the chair, and he burned alive at 92 years old. But he forgot to write me out of the will, and I got $5,000. Here is to breaking generational curses and fuck racism.
Well, because we want to make sure we're doing the right thing for your wife, but we haven't been able to.
Getting security? What is security going to do with my wife? And I'm trying to get her out here to a specialist. What is security going to do?
Okay, well, we have everything in the letter.
What's her name?
So we will.
Wait, what's your name, ma'am? Ma'am, what's your name?
This is a continued...
What's her name, Dad?
Who are you?
Yeah. Lisa. Oh, Lisa. Yeah. Who can I use to file against you? Who can I complain against you?
Oh, we already received it.
No, I said, who can I complain against you? If I have a complaint against you, who can I talk to? So I can write that down. If I have an issue with the patient's advocate, who can I call?
Transfer out of this hospital.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay, I'm listening to your father.
Okay, I'm asking you, who can I complain to when the patient
already
advocate?
did.
No, who can I complain to? Who can I complain to?
We'll file a complaint because basically she's trying to provoke.
Yeah.
Oh, sir, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
And her provoking.
Yes.
I'm really trying to request for my wife to
Yes.
see a specialist.
Yes.
Because you guys are not going according to my request.
Mm-hmm.
You're sending in security guards. You're giving me bogus letters that's not accurate.
Mhm.
And nobody,
And the patient advocate is not advocating for us, because look, see how they calling security on us? My mom is sitting right here. My mom is sitting right here unattended for, and patient advocate is bringing security with us. Is this advocating for the patient? This is my mom. She cannot speak, and then she's bringing security up in here. Today is August the 16th, 2024, and you saw what the patient advocate did. The patient advocate is coming up to our room, harassing us on this floor. And that's what they're doing. They're harassing us in the hospital. We're in the hospital trying to get, get some stuff taken care of. That's it. Most High is good in heaven. The Most High in heaven is really good. And my mom, she's 67 years old. My mom is 67 years old, and the patient advocate is not advocating for my mom. She's 67 years old and can't even speak. And there she's for the hospital. And I never got a chance to complain. But it's all right, just like the Father told the children of Israel when they were in Egypt to let his people go. And it took some time for Aaron and Moses to reconcile the differences that the taskmasters in Egypt was doing against the children. And he was able to see those burdens that they were putting on his family, the family of God, And that's what that is. It's all right. The Most High is good. He reigns on the just and the unjust. But you saw that. You saw how the patient advocate came in with security. My mom and my dad is 67 years old. My mom and my dad is 67 years old. They're elders. These are elders. And this is the hospital that they brought my parents to. That's why we wanted to transfer so we can go to a place. We've been dealing with civil rights and all of this, of our rights being violated. And here we are in 2023, and we still are being met with discrimination. Us as Israelites, all we wanted was the standard of care. That's it. And the patient advocate is not even advocating for us. She never came to us and asked us what we needed or anything. The hospital is using her and security to mess with us, and that's not right. But that's all right. No weapon that's formed against us shall prosper. Every tongue that rises up against us in judgment we shall condemn. This is the heritage of the saints. This is Isaiah 54:17. And that's not right. That's not right for them. We tried to get the CEO and Jennifer and the administrators to talk to us in regards to what's going on to Laura Roberts and 404. But they don't want to do it. See, that's what the patient advocate has done. And my parents, they grew up in the 50s and the 60s. They seen this. And here I am. I have to see it now myself. We're not progressive. We're in 2023. We're not even progressive. They got my own people in uniform treating us like we're criminals and we're in a hospital. There's no patience that is being met with this type of opposition. My dad is 67 years old. He's an elder. And that's not right. That's not right at all. And I want this hospital to be exposed for the things that they're doing against my parents and unrighteousness. My mom is 67 years old. She had 2 strokes on July 25th. And ever since they brought us in here, we've had people like Milton want us out, tell us to get out of here. She wasn't even here for a day and put in a transfer. And we just want everybody to look to see what's going on instead of harassing us. This is a hospital. But hey, what do you expect? What do you expect from a people who don't serve God? What do you expect for a people that's ungodly and don't know the truth? But they're full of hatred and evil. That's evil for the patient advocate to approach my dad. My mom had 2 strokes, and we don't even know why, and she's laying there. And all we ask for is a doctor to come in and explain to us what happened to her brain, why you didn't feed her, why are you messing with her feeding tube. My mom didn't eat for 5 days. They put a tube in her nose, and they put it in correctly. So they think they can use security to intimidate us, to not even hear what we're saying, to address our concerns. That's why I said I want to file a complaint against the patient advocate, because the patient advocate is not listening to us. She's working for the hospital and having security, my own people, come against me. And all we want, we're not violent people. We're peaceful people. We're the children of God. God said we got to be peacemakers. And it's not right that they're having my people do this in uniform, but I know this is his job. He got to do his job. Okay, you got to go. Okay, right. Okay, then go ahead and take care of your business. I'm glad you handled yourself right. The patient advocate did not advocate for you. She got the security. What? Messing with my dad and my mom. 67 years old. But Father, you see this day. Today is August, 16th,
2023 on a Wednesday. My parents do not deserve this. But how can Satan cast out Satan? His kingdom won't stand. But it's all right, Father, you see this day, and I pray, Father, that you visit this hospital and let your mighty hand see the unrighteousness that's happening. Security guards, they got security guards on us. Patient advocate is harassing my dad. That's harassment. All because my dad wants.
We should all stop supporting Asian-owned businesses, is what I would say if I was fucking stupid.
Have we ever seen an Asian in a soul food spot en masse? Have we ever seen the Asians supporting Black American businesses en masse? Let me know. Maybe I'm going crazy.
As much as my heart goes out to the Rick Chow case, you can't blame a whole community for one isolated incident.
Your heart doesn't really go out to what happened because you didn't make a video about what happened. You're making a video about the response to what happened, right? So which means you don't really care about what happened, but going after the response instead of the action.
And for all those that say that they're going to stop supporting Asian businesses, the clothes on your back probably came from China.
Seeing the clothes on our back come from China actually proves our point to let you know that we're not a hateful people. We always supported the Asian community, and if we stop doing it, that's going to be economic destruction for you. So I don't know if that was supposed to be aha, got you moment, because that's not the flex you thought it was.
And I do admit a lot of Asian people are racist. However, not everyone that's Asian is racist.
So you're admitting that a lot of Asian people are racist. So what are we talking about? Now, I'm not saying all, because I have a few that I'm cool with, but what are we talking about?
I think we should be sabotaging Asian-owned businesses, especially since Asian Heritage Month just passed.
How us doing our own group economic is sabotaging Asian businesses? That's what you guys are doing. You guys are doing your own group economic. You have your Chinatown, when you came into our communities, separated and made your own enclave and communities. Is that sabotaging the Black American community? No, it's not. So we're not sabotaging. We're doing our own group economics. What's the issue?
Also, specifically, not supporting Asian businesses is also considered racist.
So if not supporting Asian business is considered racist, I haven't seen Asians en masse support Black American business. So what that means? So tell me, what does that mean? In the last 65 years, I haven't seen Black Americans working in Asian businesses. I haven't seen us Asians massive support in Black American business. And I definitely didn't see them in no damn soul food spots. So are you saying that they're racist? It sounds like you're telling them yourself. See, the problem is, again, I call it social unity, economic warfare. Socially, it's all love. You might be able to hang out, have fun, go to the bar, whatever. But economically and politically, it's been warfare for the last 65 years, and we're the last to catch up. See, the problem is, a lot of y'all are in our communities, right? Extracting out $1.9 to $2.6 trillion. So the moment we say, hold on, we're going to start doing our own group economics, that's economic devastation and destruction for you. And y'all know it. Y'all know it. This is why such a frantic, this is why such a panic, this is why it's being called racism. Because all we're saying is that, fine, we're going to do what y'all been doing for the last 55 years and doing group economics and keeping the same energy y'all been keeping. Right? So the moment we keep the same energy, oh God, you guys are racist. Hold on. Why can't we have self-love? Why can't we do group economics? Why can't we do, y'all been boycotted us for the last 65 years. Y'all boycotted us for the last 65 years. So the moment we boycott back is a problem? That's interesting. Y'all tell me. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Love y'all. Peace, love, your